One wink. That's all it took for an entire country to turn on an 18-year-old. They called him a traitor, a cheat, a rat. They booed him in every stadium in England. They wanted to break him. Instead, they built the greatest player of his generation. But to understand that night in Germany, you have to go back to the very beginning. In the summer of 2003, a boy left Madeira. He had already survived poverty. He had already survived a heart operation on a table at 15 years old. He had earned his place at Sporting CP. He had done everything they asked. But nobody in England knew his name. Not yet. Before Manchester United, there was Arsenal. Arsene Wenger, one of the greatest managers in the history of English football, wanted him. He didn't just send scouts. He didn't just make one phone call. Wenger sat down with Cristiano Ronaldo and his mother 3 times. 3 separate meetings. Arsenal vice chairman David Dine flew the boy to London, showed him the training ground, showed him the plans for the new stadium they were building, looked him in the eye and said, "This is your future." At the end of the last meeting, Ronaldo's agent Jorge Mendes asked for one night, just one night to think it over. 6 hours later, Ronaldo had signed for Manchester United. Arsenal had offered £4.5 million. United paid 12. Arsenal couldn't match it. They were spending everything on a new stadium. The money simply wasn't there. Wenger later named Ronaldo as one of the 2 biggest regrets of his entire managerial career. One night, 6 hours. That's how close it was. August 6, 2003. Lisbon, Portugal. Sporting CP were inaugurating their brand new stadium. They invited Manchester United for a preseason friendly. For United, it was a routine warm-up game. A formality. Nobody had told them what was waiting on that pitch. Number 28.
Cristiano Ronaldo.
18 years old. Braces on his teeth. Blonde highlights in his hair. He looked like a kid. Then the game started. John O'Shea, one of the most experienced defenders in the Premier League, was given the job of marking him. By the end of that night, Sir Alex Ferguson would describe the look on O'Shea's face as a look of pain and bewilderment. Ronaldo twisted him inside out, then outside in, over and over again. The tricks, the pace, the dribbles, O'Shea had no answer. Nobody did. Ryan Giggs was watching from the sidelines. He was laughing. Gary Neville watched from home. He said, "Bloody hell." Michael Silvestre, a World Cup veteran, said afterwards, "This kid nobody knew tore us apart for the whole game. No one could get near him." By the end, everyone knew about him. When the final whistle blew, United's players didn't go straight to the dressing room. They went to Sir Alex Ferguson, not suggesting, pleading. Rio Ferdinand was on the team bus waiting for the manager. He said, "We were just willing them to sign him. Within a week, he was our player." Ferguson had already decided before they opened their mouths. £12 million. Done. Arsenal never forgave themselves. There was one problem. That same summer, David Beckham had left Manchester United for Real Madrid. And with him went the number 7 shirt. The most famous shirt in English football. George Best wore it. Brian Robson wore it. Eric Cantona wore it. David Beckham wore it. Now Ferguson wanted an 18-year-old Portuguese kid to wear it. Ronaldo said no. He asked for number 28, his number at Sporting. He said he wasn't ready. He said he didn't deserve it. Ferguson looked at him and said, "You will wear it." And that was the end of the conversation. That shirt would either crush him or define him. Old Trafford, September 2003. Ronaldo walked out in front of 67,000 people for his debut. He was nervous. He later said the size of the stadium and the passion of the fans shocked him completely, and he couldn't even understand his own manager. Ferguson's Scottish accent was so thick that Ronaldo needed a translator just to understand what was being said in team talks. He was alone, in a foreign country, speaking a second language he was still learning, wearing a shirt that carried the weight of legends. And then the English media got hold of him. Too flashy, Too much showboating. Goes to the ground too easily. He's not ready for this league. Every week a new headline. Every match a new critic. He was brilliant one game, invisible the next. The fans were watching him, waiting, wondering if he was real or just another expensive mistake. What the cameras never showed you was what happened in training. Ferguson had a problem. Ronaldo was falling to the floor at the slightest contact. Any touch and down he went. It looked weak. The media was tearing him apart for it, and it had to stop. So Ferguson called his coaching staff together and made a decision. From now on, if Ronaldo gets kicked in training, you don't blow the whistle. You don't protect him. You let it happen. Roy Keane,
Hugh Firgina,
the hardest, most unforgiving professionals in English football. They were given permission to hammer him. Nobody told Ronaldo. One day he's laughing and joking with his teammates. The next day those same teammates are going through him like he owes them money, and nobody is calling a foul. Teammate Eric Jemba was watching from the sidelines. He said, Ronaldo was crying in training. They were kicking him and he was crying, but he would wipe his tears and keep running, crying, and kept running, and the hardest lesson was still coming. Roy Keane also got in his face for failing to track back, screaming at him, demanding more, accepting nothing less. One afternoon, Ryan Giggs went in hard with a tackle on Ronaldo. Ferguson turned on Giggs instantly. I know it's a tackle, but take care. He is a special player. Giggs couldn't believe it. Even he got the message, protect this kid. But Ronaldo saw something in Giggs. He watched him, studied him. Giggs was 29 years old. He was using the gym more than anyone. Injury prevention, recovery routines, taking care of his body like it was a machine. Ronaldo went to him and said, I want to know everything you do in that gym. Everything. But I want to do it better. He copied Giggs, then pushed it further. And that obsession with his body, that discipline, it started right there in the training ground at Carrington, watching a Welsh winger who never wasted a single day. Giggs later said Ronaldo was the best player he ever played with. They would play 204 games together. Ronaldo said, if you have a little intelligence, you look at those doing things better than you and you learn from them. Giggs, Scholes, Ferdinand,
Van Nistelrooy.
If you don't learn from players like that, you're an imbecile. But it wasn't all quiet lessons. One preseason match, Ronaldo was showboating, trying to prove himself, trying to be the star, while the team around him was struggling. Ferguson had seen enough. He called him into the dressing room. Rio Ferdinand was there. He remembers it like it was yesterday. Ferguson walked up to the teenager, looked him dead in the eyes and said, who do you think you are? You come in here trying to prove to everybody who you think you are. You think you're a superstar. Ronaldo broke down, tears, in front of his teammates, in front of the manager who had bet £12 million on him. But Ferguson's brilliance was knowing exactly when to be hard and exactly when to put his arm around you. After the tears, he lifted him up, and slowly, the message began to sink in. Tricks are nothing without goals. Skill is nothing without winning. A superstar is made, not assumed. July 1st, 2006. Gelsenkirchen, Germany. World Cup quarterfinal. England versus Portugal. 62nd minute. Wayne Rooney stamps on Ricardo Carvalho. Ronaldo sprints to the referee. Argues. Pleads. Points. Rooney is shown the red card. Ronaldo walks away, and as he reaches the sideline, he turns to the Portugal bench and winks. In that 1 second, England declared war on him. But before we talk about what that wink cost him, you need to understand what was inside this man's head. A locker room. A simple question put to a group of rising stars. Who is the best player in the world? Rio Ferdinand said Maradona. Anderson said Maradona. Cristiano Ronaldo looked straight into the camera and said, Me.
No pause. No smile. No hesitation.
That right there, that was the difference. It wasn't the step-overs. It wasn't the pace. It was the belief, an absolute, unshakable, bordering on delusional certainty that he was always going to be the greatest. And he fiercely protected that belief. He held onto it on the nights the stadium booed him. He held onto it when the tabloids tried to tear him apart. He held onto it on the days he broke down and cried in training. He didn't just outwork everyone because he loved the game. He outworked everyone because he had made a blood promise to himself, and failing was never an option. Every session after the team bus left, every hour under empty floodlights, every brutal sacrifice. It wasn't discipline. It was an obsession, all built on one immovable truth that no matter who they asked, no matter the era, no matter the debate, the answer to that question was always going to be him. One small wink, the whole of England explodes. The tabloids called him a traitor, a cheat, a rat. He was booed in every ground in England, everywhere he went, every match. And then it got worse. Ronaldo wanted to leave. Real Madrid were waiting. He had had enough of England. Ferguson got on a plane. He flew to Portugal. He sat down with Ronaldo personally, face to face, and told him, "You are not leaving. And this club is going to be built around you." He sold Ruud van Nistelrooy. He gave Ronaldo the team. That summer, Ronaldo went to the gym and he didn't come out. He came back to preseason a different person. Broader, stronger, heavier, and with something in his eyes that wasn't there before. The crowd in England wanted to break him. They gave him fuel instead. Season 2006-07. No more falling to the floor. No more excess showboating. Just football. Just goals. Just winning. 23 goals in all competitions. Premier League title. The boos were getting quieter. The same fans who had whistled him were starting to rise from their seats when he got the ball. Season 2007-08. 42 goals. 42. Player of the Year. Premier League title again. And then, the biggest night of them all. May 21st, 2008. Luzhniki Stadium. Moscow. Champions League Final. Manchester United versus Chelsea. 26th minute. Across from Wes Brown. Ronaldo Hizes. Header. Bottom corner. He runs to the corner flag. 5 years of pain. 5 years of being kicked, mocked, booed, broken. All of it pouring out. But Chelsea come back. Lampard equalizes just before halftime. Extra time. No goals. Penalties. Ronaldo walks up first. The stadium is silent. He stutters in his run-up, trying to send Petr Cech the wrong way. Cech dives right. Saves it. Ronaldo walks back. Head down. Eyes on the floor. He later said, "It would have been the worst day of my life." But football has a way of writing its own stories. John Terry, Chelsea's captain, Chelsea's leader, walks up to take the penalty that would win the Champions League for Chelsea. He slips. The ball hits the post. The stadium gasps. And in the end, Edwin van der Sar saves the final kick. Manchester United are champions of Europe. Ronaldo lifts the trophy. 5 years after arriving as a skinny teenager with braces on his teeth and blonde highlights in his hair, the boy who nobody believed in is the best player on the planet. The Ballon d'Or follows weeks later, the first of 5. Arsenal saw him 3 times, sat with him and his mother, looked a future Ballon d'Or winner in the eye, and said he wasn't worth £12 million. Roy Keane kicked him until he cried, and he wiped his tears and kept running. England booed him from every terrace in the country, and he used every single sound as fuel. This is what they never tell you. This is football untold, where legends live.